Smith made headlines in December when she revealed she had quit her job and divorced her husband after falling in love. Okay, so I guess she fell in love with the prisoner. Okay, so she insisted that her view was just misunderstood, I guess the prison guy. This came after he had been dubbed the most hated man in America for price gouging a drug for people with HIV. Bizarre though, the story was Smith, I believe that's her last name. Yeah, Christy, I don't know why they won't just call her Christy, has plenty of company. For every incarcerated man, it seems there's a woman interested in being his pen pal or more. Okay? Christy Smith, a former journalist who helped break the story of a white-collar criminal, Martin Shkreli, Wright became romantically involved with him while he served a federal prison sentence for fraud. Okay, I'm about to show her. She looks fairly normal, too. She's, normal looking lady. And, he's the genius. I'm trying to say, I guess, he thought he was the genius. He didn't know he would get caught. It's a trend explored in the book Love Lockdown, Dating, XXX, and Marriage in America's Prisons. Okay. Greenwood decided to start researching prison marriages after her own extensive correspondence with jail white-collar criminal Samuel Israel III, currently serving a 22-year sentence in Butner, North Carolina federal prison for mail fraud and investment advisor fraud. Oh no. Some of this, it does make you wonder, how do these people get into committing these crimes? Or what? How does it start? What do you get away with one thing, and then it makes you think, oh, I could do that again and get away with it, and then you keep getting comfortable enough. You get so comfortable that you keep on, and then you eventually leave footprints. Okay, so this guy, I guess his name is Israel, it said he had faked his death by staging a suicidal plunge off the Bear Mountain Bridge in upstate New York in June 2008. He turned himself in to the feds 3 weeks later, and Greenwood reached out to him whilst researching her first book, Playing Dead, about people who fake their own deaths or disappearances. They have stayed in touch for 7 years, corresponding frequently, although they have never met. Quite interesting, right, people? I think we know people like this, where you're online friends, and for whatever reason, y'all stay in touch. I don't know what that's about, why people want to do that, because it's I don't want to do it, so I don't know why people want to do it. Okay. Throughout the half dozen years I've known Sam, he has gone from my subject to my stalker to my friend, she writes, nodding that the correspondence helped her understand the laser-like attention an inmate with little to do can lavish on a lady. For her latest book, Greenwood followed the lives of 5 couples who met while one of them was incarcerated. Okay. I don't know what that means. I'm just trying to say, whatever they wrote was very confusing what came next. So, to prison wives who have long histories with their men, MWI. Okay? Women are seen as pathetic losers, or worse yet, prison groupies. Let's just label them a prison groupie. But what she found were relationships that were at times romantic, messy, complicated, and sometimes heartbreaking. In other words, not too unlike those in the real world. One couple includes Joe, an ex-Army medic who had worked as a prison guard at a Kansas City jail, and Benny Reed, who was serving a 10-year sentence in the maximum security Oregon State Penitentiary for the attempted murder of his then girlfriend. It shows Joe and Benny Reed, who met on a prison pen pal site on their wedding day, and they are kissing. I'm going to show the picture. That's her prison boo. You see that? How romantic. The pair met on a prison pen pal site. Joe knew the stigma of associating with a felon, but it didn't deter her. In recovery herself from an addiction to pain pills, Joe credited Benny with making me the best possible version of myself. I think these women tend to be very nurturing. They have a sense of wanting to be cared for, wanting to be caring for someone else, and men in prison, for obvious reasons, are quite needy. The pair even got married at the prison. He saved up from his $1.81 an hour prison call center job to buy her a ring off Etsy. How sweet. But the relationship ended abruptly when Benny found other companions online. Are you kidding me? He still left her while in prison. That's crazy. It says, yeah, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'll reread that part for you. The pair had even got engaged at the prison. He saved up from his $1.81 an hour prison call center job to buy her a ring off Etsy. But the relationship, it ended abruptly when Benny found other companions online. Wow. Even in prison, they cheat and they're greedy. Just why do women fall for imprisoned men? According to Dr. Fred Berlin, director of the Johns Hopkins XXX and Gender Clinic, there tends to be this trait of intense mothering in prison wives, writes Greenwood. I think these women tend to be very nurturing. They have a sense of wanting to be caring for someone else, and men in prison, for obvious reasons, are quite needy. But not every prison wife goes into a pen pal relationship looking for love. Sheila Rule, a longtime foreign correspondent for New York Times, met Joe Robinson while doing volunteer work for a prison ministry. She was corresponding with more than a dozen inmates when a compelling letter came from Robinson, an East New York native serving 25 years for murder. Now, I have to look at this close up. I guess she was really lonely too. Okay, I'm looking at them. Oh, how are they in bed together? They must. She must like spent that one weekend day with him. This is funny. He has on regular clothes. Let me show the picture. Yep, she met him during her volunteer. Okay, so look, that lady I showed you, Sheila, a longtime foreign correspondent for New York Times, met Joe Robinson, the guy that you saw there, while doing volunteer work for a prison ministry. She was corresponding with more than a dozen inmates when a compelling letter came from Robinson, an East New York native serving 25 years for murder. As a pen pal, he was looking for a young lady, and Rule, who had been married twice, was in her 50s, 20 years his senior. She let him down and flat out told him that she couldn't be his companion but could be his friend. For a year, The two exchanged letters that were deeply vulnerable but very flirtatious. In 2003, he convinced her to visit him in person, where the relationship switched from friendship to romance. And they wed in 2005. That's 2 years later, after he convinced her to visit him. They've now been married 15 years, 12 of which Robinson was in prison. She says the marriage is happy and familiar, like an old shoe. That's so funny. Like, it's like a shoe. Still, Rue initially told few people about the relationship. When she decided to tell a friend she thought was progressive, the friend asked how she could be with someone charged with murder. I'm not marrying Joe's past, she told the friend. I'm marrying the person he's become. Do you like her excuse? So that's the end of Terrible Crimes. How it couldn't stop these ladies from marrying men behind bars. I hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know, are you enjoying the prison series? Is it very lovey-dovey? Is it giving